Imagine you're a diehard Arkham fan waiting years and years since Arkham Knight's release in 2015 to see what Rocksteady's cooking up with their next project. There are so many ways to expand this Arkham universe, whether it be a continuation of the Bat family stories similar to what they did with Gotham Knights, or maybe expanding with other DC Comics characters. I guarantee you've been waiting to see maybe a Superman game, as that was the ideological next step. Maybe a Flash game, maybe a Green Lantern game, or I don't know, I'm just spitballing here, maybe a goddamn Justice League game. Nah, you don't want any of that. You don't want, these games that actually give massive respect and props to these iconic DC characters. No. What you want is that you would rather play as the most insufferable character in this universe, a side villain that got converted into a whole brother, unironically an Australian, and a giant shark. And instead of playing as some of your favorite DC characters, you are forced to kill them in the most disrespectful way. Yeah, it's totally what we want. The fact that the logical next step in the Arkhamverse wasn't any of the examples I just listed is just mind-boggling. I understand that Rocksteady was most likely forced to make a live service Suicide Squad game due to a mandate by WB Games executives themselves. This is kind of in corroboration to the fact that WB Games Montreal, the developers of Gotham Knights, were given the mandate to make a co-op Gotham-based Bat family game, which is stated by the creative director Patrick Redding. Whenever he'd go on interviews, he'd say, "We were given the mandate to make a game like this." And according to Jason Schreier, Rocksteady's been working on Suicide Squad since 2017. But I highly doubt that they absolutely had to make this game a part of the Arkhamverse continuity. It's just a pain to see so many references or Easter eggs or character interactions to maybe the Justice League's first encounter or audio logs going in depth on their overall dynamic. A Justice League game by Rocksteady could have honestly been Marvel's Avengers done right, in my opinion. A team-based game set in the Arkhamverse where you play as some of the most iconic DC characters that expands this universe in a multitude of ways and answers fans' decade-long questions on the whereabouts of the heroes during the Arkham franchise. On God, that could have been WB's major moneymaker right there. But in the expense of making a game centered on the Suicide Squad, it just turns out to be one of the worst adaptations of the Justice League in any medium. First of all, why are there only 5 members of the league? Like, dog, this ain't even a Justice League. This is a Justice Group. This is a whole band. And it's just ironic seeing how WB has this really big push for like live servicey elements in their games as a way to make profit. But in reality, like, if you just make a really good single player narrative driven game with a popular IP, I promise you'll make your money. Look at Hogwarts Legacy. Like, it is a single player RPG game with a massive open world and decent story that pretty much is a love letter to Harry Potter fans, and it was their highest selling game of 2023. You were literally sitting on a gold mine with the opportunity to make a game that's continuing the Arkhamverse. You could have expanded upon that with like a world's finest game. Like, imagine like a Batman Superman game where it could be like a Marvel Spider-Man 2 route where it is single player but you can like switch between the two of them, or maybe just a solo Superman game because he hasn't had a game in how many years? Oh my god. Or just, the fact that you could have just made a Justice League game, as that would have been something people would have preferred and would have made more money. And obviously you're gonna have these brain dead idiots that try to bring up the game's title as a defense towards the game's story, even though they fail to recognize that this is supposed to take place in one of the most beloved adaptations of Batman in like his universe, that being the Arkhamverse. And you're telling me this game is how you introduce these characters that people have been wanting to see in this particular universe. The way they single-handedly disrespect each member of the league aside from Wonder Woman needs to be studied. It sucks even more when you find out that this version of Superman is an actual brain dead idiot. Through the Justice League audio files in the game, it turns out that Superman is solely responsible for the entire Justice League aside from Wonder Woman getting corrupted by Brainiac.
This Brainiac wants to open negotiations aboard his ship. It's a trap.
Agreed. That much is apparent.
I hear you both, but we have to go in good faith. What if I had come to Earth and...
Cal, buddy, let's be real. You didn't show up in a giant skull.
I didn't choose how I got here, Flash. Now, I'll admit it's not the most inviting presence, but if we can avoid fighting altogether, we owe it to the people of Metropolis to try. They know the strength of the League, everyone does. Now let's show them our heart, our compassion.
Our recklessness. We can't just leave Metropolis undefended.
We'll be in the thick of it, Bruce. Talks get nasty, we toss that thing right back into space.
We're in this together, gang. The 5 of us united, there's nothing we can't do. Let's show them our intentions.
You know what they say about good intentions, Clark.
I'm making an offer to you, Justice League. As my lieutenants, I will unlock your full potential to serve me.
This planet doesn't need you to unlock its potential, Brainiac.
Really, Bruce Wayne? Your limited human body constantly outpaced by its mind. The process of integrating
So you're telling me more than half the Justice League, which consisted of Batman, Wonder Woman, and Flash, all knew it was a trap, yet they still followed through with Superman's plan anyway. Oh, well, we have to go in good faith. Dog, are you stupid? You telling me Arkhamverse Batman, even though he did bring out the fact that this is most definitely a trap, would still follow through anyway? Like, there's so many ways they could have avoided this. Like, who said all of you needed to go into Brainiac's ship at once just to see if he was actually being truthful and wanting to have peaceful negotiations? Are you stupid? Are you a stupid bitch? Like, is there a lore reason why writers keep making Superman an actual buffoon? Like, this is the second time I've seen in a DC adaptation where Superman has this big grand plan on how to deal with a threat, and he ends up hoeing the entire DC universe. The other example I'm talking about is in Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, when it was the end of the DC AMU, and it was his plan for, you know, the DC comic heroes catalog on Apocalypse and attack Darkseid, but failing to realize that Darkseid was actually watching every single intricate detail of Superman's plan via Cyborg because he's half mother, or he was infused with the mother box. So then Darkseid knew all aspects of their plan, had half Parademon, half Doomsday Parademons, and pretty much just murked the whole universe. Now, let me tell you something, bro. I like Wonder Woman. She's a top DC character. If you don't agree with that, argue with the wall.
Please don't kill me, evil Wonder Woman. Look, here's his thumb. It just came off, I swear.
Step on me next.
Based Harley. But the actual glazing of Wonder Woman in this game over the other characters is crazy. The most infamous example being that her character bio, and like, let's just take a read here of what it says. I am prone to wild imaginings. As a man of science, speculation is how my brain finds leisure, and the closest thing it knows to quote-unquote play. But there's little amusement to be found in imagining how improved Earth would be if instead of forcing the Amazons into hiding with our cruelty and avarice, we had instead looked to them as a model. Replicable if only we could set aside our baser instincts. They've solved so many of our society's ills. Broken democracy, lagging technology, toxic masculinity. Okay, I'm done reading this. Now, looking at this first glance, who do you think wrote this? You know, maybe like a secret Wonder Woman stand in the DC Comics universe or whatever. No, it was written by Lex Luthor, the Superman villain? Why on God's green earth would Lex Luthor of all people praise Wonder Woman like this? Talking about some, oh, they've solved so many of our society's ills like lagging technology. Like, dog, they're not Wakanda. They're not that technologically advanced of a nation at all. Ah, yes, because swords, shields, and bows and arrows are just peak technological advancement. And solving of society's ills of toxic masculinity. Dog, there are no men allowed on Themyscira. How would it even exist? Like, you're just saying something while saying nothing at the same time. And I understand that, like, with specifically like Green Lantern's character bio, like it was written by Deadshot, who has this forced, just unnatural rivalry with like Jon Stewart. It's like, well, it's just weird kind of guy that makes you think, oh, one of the good ones. What the hell is that supposed to mean? I guess he's a good role model for the kids if you want your kids to go being know-it-all narcs. Now, reading this on Black History Month is crazy work. And what really doesn't make sense is how much the squad mourns or feels bad for Wonder Woman's death and be like, wow, she saved us all. She can't believe she sacrificed herself. Even though she's treated the squad like crap up until her death throughout the entire game. If you are giving her this amount of respect because she sacrificed herself for the greater good, why wasn't this respect given to the Flash? Yes, he was brainwashed, but like before he was brainwashed in the beginning of the game, he went out of his way to actually save the lives of these characters. He saved Harley Quinn from being shot in the head by Batman. He fought Green Lantern before he just like one-tapped them all in the beginning of the game. But nah, let's have Boomerang whip out his dingling in front of Flash's dead corpse and praise him for being hung like a horse. And then after Wonder Woman dies, there's like this broadcast by Lois Lane as you're free roaming in the world and going to your next mission, and she has the audacity to say that Wonder Woman is one of the, or if not the strongest force Metropolis has ever known.
I don't know how to say this. Wonder Woman is gone. She was the only member of the Justice League to resist the corruption. All the way to the end. For weeks, she has been our champion. Our greatest hope. And maybe the strongest force for good that Metropolis has ever known.
Fuck 50. I'm like, what do you say fuck me for?
Lois Lane said that. Like, just throw Clark under the bus thing, I guess. I mean, I know he's mind controlled, but still, like, you're just gonna undermine the sacrifices he's made from Metropolis over the years? And after reading some, like, fan theories or suggestions of how this game could have been a lot different, I'm not gonna lie, some of y'all were just straight up cooking. Like, get them people in the kitchen. Like, specifically the idea of, like, a Batman redeem the Justice League game, or just this game story in general, having Wonder Woman and Batman switch roles, where Batman should have been the only member of the League not brainwashed by Brainiac. Now, I'm not saying he would be able to resist resist Brainiac's mind control. I'm just saying that the plot should have revolved around him being the only non-brainwashed member of the League, because, I mean, it makes all the sense. Like, we've had 4 games with this nigga. I mean, I feel like we would have a solid idea of how this character is supposed to be written. Not to mention, it would have been a cool way to actually see him utilize his contingency plans on how to nullify the rest of the League in full, whether it be like a Batman Redeem the Justice League type game, or if you had to play as a Suicide Squad and just have, like I said, Batman and Wonder Woman switch roles. Also, he wouldn't be dumb enough to go to Brainiac's ship without a plan, and even admits this now. They can't leave Metropolis undefended, but they still went with it anyway. You really wondered that if the writers for this game played any of the Arkham games. I guarantee you they didn't, because it's kind of weird, right? Because there are references, like solid references and nods to what happened in the previous games, but the character writing contradicts the existence of this universe, specifically for Batman and Harley Quinn. Like, Harley Quinn in this game is written like her more modern New 52 counterpart, where she's like more independent and like doesn't really care that much for the Joker anymore. But that doesn't work in the context of the Arkham series, considering that even after the Joker died, her whole point in like Arkham Knight was just to get revenge on Batman because she thought he killed the Joker. Or them like insinuating that like Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy had a strong relationship, which I'll tell you right now, they did not. At most, they were probably just good acquaintances, but like that just did not happen in the Arkham universe. That you shouldn't have set this game in that universe. Or that through another audio log that Superman gives Batman a lecture on the importance of teamwork and collaboration, which he shouldn't have, because Batman already knows this. This was his whole character arc in Arkham Origins.
Bruce, you're doing it again. You're no good to us unconscious. What would Alfred say?
Alfred understands, Clark. Crime never.
Crime doesn't sleep, yeah, and neither does the Watchtower. It's basically you. You helped us build it.
It's crime never sleeps.
Of course. Listen, you've got the support of the League now. This fight isn't yours alone. That's the commitment we made.
I'm not ungrateful, Clark, and the League is working. I just need time to adjust.
You know, Pa used to say to me, don't ask for lighter burdens, ask for broader shoulders.
Cute. And easy to say when you can carry an entire planet on your shoulders.
Very funny. Look, you're a smart guy, Bruce. The smartest guy I know. But you've gotta let us help.
Ah, you're right. I'll take a few hours off to sleep. Happy?
Elated. Just do me one more favor. Take the cowl off first.
They need you out there.
I can't defend Gotham. I can't even defend my own home.
Master Bruce. Master Bruce, now is not the time for doubt.
I can't do it. I can't stop them.
No, you can't. Not on your own, but it's high time you realize that you are a man, not an island. And a man's strength comes not from just brawn and intelligence, but also from his allies.
Anyone for assistance.
They need you.
No. They need us.
And you know, let's say there is like the strong possibility that a Justice League game in this universe could actually still be a thing, as it's pretty evident that the Justice League are probably going to come back in like post-launch content or DLC, according to like voice audio log leaks and whatnot. Bringing back the Justice League does not change this game's story in any way, shape, or form in terms of its quality. It's still like a 0 out of 10. Because on both sides it's problematic, because on the other hand, it's like they can't even stick to their own premise. But on the other hand, it really does not undo the effects and just the overall garbage writing of the actual main game story, because A, the Justice League aren't competent enough where the Suicide Squad have to defeat Brainiac instead of them. Superman's an idiot. Over 90% of the Metropolis population is dead, so the Justice League fumbled tremendously. And even if they were clones that, you know, the squad themselves killed, it's just like they just nerfed the absolutely living hell out of these characters, but at the same time show moments where they could have just wiped out the squad in seconds. WB, I need y'all to do yourselves a favor. I need y'all to stop with the Suicide Squad push. I don't understand what what the old regime's obsession was with this group. I have nothing against them, but like the fact that they've gotten more push in media over the Justice League themselves is crazy work. And it's just a shame how you have people making fun of Arkham fans or like just using like gaslighting tactics, stating how like Arkham fans are just complaining or, oh, you just think the story's bad because they killed off your favorite characters. Oh, it's called Kill the Justice League and all this other nonsense. It's like, yeah, why would anyone want to see some of their most beloved characters throughout the decades be disrespected in ways like this? Written by writers who have no fundamental knowledge of how these characters operate and have no knowledge of this universe that it's supposed to take place in. And even outside of the fact that you do kill the Justice League, I kind of, you know, since they're probably gonna like revert back to like the status quo of, oh, they're not actually dead. The game's pacing is just horrendous. There's no character development or growth for the actual core cast. A lot of the jokes are not funny. It has a very inconsistent tone, but most of the people's problems comes to the fact that it's set in the Arkham universe, so you have just blatant character assassination. And even if you were forced to make a game with this specific premise, they just didn't do a good job of making it believable as a sense of how couldn't the Justice League prevented this from happening in the first place? Or they just straight up allow the squad to do what they do. Ready? Now, don't get it twisted. I still want to see a Superman game. I still want to see a Justice League game, just not made by these developers, because like I said in my Batman video, this Rocksteady that we used to know and love, they don't exist anymore. This is a completely different team of people that are nowhere near as talented. With all disrespect, please never touch an established IP ever again. And all of my critiques for this game have really nothing to do with like the core gameplay or anything like that. I'm just specifically talking about the game's narrative and story. So whenever I say it's a 0 out of 10, I'm talking about the narrative, right? Because this is an actual pathetic excuse of a story.